All right, so we're here today with Shayna from Concept Academy, and we just want to talk to her about her journey through Jiu Jitsu and the things she's accomplished so far in life. First question, why did you start Jiu Jitsu? How did you start? And kind of walk me through your journey to how we got to today.
So I actually started Jiu Jitsu. I learned about Jiu Jitsu through like a mutual friend. Prior, I would say during around like COVID, like maybe, because COVID was what, 2020? 2020. Yeah. I used to do judo, and I was doing judo at Wadokan in Kaneohe.
Okay.
And I got into judo because I needed like an outlet to put my energy. I kind of needed, you know, like how people go to the gym to like get their energy out. I needed to do something physical.
Yes.
And so going to the gym was only like so much that I could do. And so then someone was like, hey, try judo. Did judo, I competed in one tournament, then COVID hit, and like that literally shut everything down. And I had nowhere to put my energy, and that was really hard and it was really frustrating.
How old were you at this time? Still in high school, in college?
No, I was at Windward Community College at the time. Okay. So I'm 25 right now, so I would say maybe 20, around like 23?
23, okay.
Around, I would say around that age. And then when things started opening up, I was told, or I heard through like the grapevine that people started training out of their houses. And so then I was still waiting for judo to start, and then I realized that, okay, maybe I can't wait any longer. I need to start going to jiu-jitsu. And so a mutual friend of mine was like, hey, I know this school in town, try it out. And so I tried it out. It was a school right next to McKinley. I'm not going to say the name, but I was training there for a little bit, and that introduced me into like the jiu-jitsu world.
Okay.
And so to a certain extent I enjoyed training there, but I would say like the foundation there, it wasn't good, it wasn't there. I did make great connections with people, but I would say that the way that this coach was, it was really like passive aggressive, and I just didn't feel comfortable being there. And so
and that matters, like the comfort level matters.
Yeah. And so I just ended up leaving among other reasons too, but I left. And then this same friend was like, hey, I'll help you find another school. So I went around, looked at other schools in town, and then he was like, hey, come train in North Shore. And so I said, okay. So
and you live in town?
I live in town.
That's a drive.
Well, I was living in Kaneohe at the time.
Okay, so go the other way?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was working at Windward Community College. So in a way, it worked out. And so I went to the school, Sunset Beach Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh yeah, there's some killers over there.
Yes. I was training there for a long time. I got my blue belt under Jeff Donor.
Okay.
Super great guy. Love him a lot. And while I was there, I realized that I wanted more. Like I wanted to compete, and I felt like at that point in my life, I love JD, but what he was giving me at the time wasn't what I needed.
Yep.
And then I realized like I need to switch to a different school, and in a way it worked out because I was also trying to get my master's in social work.
Okay.
And so I didn't want to commute from town because I moved back into town.
Okay.
So I didn't want to commute from town all the way to North Shore every single day. And so through another friend, they're like, hey, you should go to Concept. And so I went to Concept for the first time.
With Maya?
Yes.
Okay, Maya's awesome. I love Maya.
I love Maya too. Dropped in for the first time at Open Mat. Remember that day literally like very vividly. And honestly, it was the best day of my life.
That's good to hear. Yes. That's really good to hear.
And I stuck with it. I stuck with Concept.
Okay, that's good. You know, there are so many academies, I mean, in the state, but on the island. Every area has 1, 2, 3, 4 gyms, and finding that vibe, right? It's not that the gym's doing something wrong. It just doesn't. It's not what you're looking for at the time, and having that, like, I have the option to go here and try this out and do this, and you find the one that fits, and it's kind of like, hey, this is where I was supposed to be. People nowadays have that option. You know, back in the days, it was like, there's a couple gyms, go there. Like, you don't like it? Well, that's the only place to learn jiu-jitsu. Now I was like, no, this is where I want to be. And that's a really good thing. The sport is growing so fast, and there's so many options. And I think it's just a great thing for the community.
Yes.
Did you ever go back to judo?
No. Actually, there was a point when I was at Sunset where I realized like I need to choose between judo or jiu-jitsu. And it was a really hard choice because originally, like, I was in love with judo, And then I was having a hard time balancing both of them.
Yeah.
And when it comes to like learning technique and stuff, you really need to put like time and energy into that. And for me, like my head can literally only hold so much.
And you were also working on your master's degree.
Yeah, so I was like, you need to choose one, and then I stuck with jiu-jitsu, and I haven't gone back to judo. I think eventually I will, but I don't see that anytime soon. Like right now, I'm really committed to just doing jiu-jitsu.
I think focusing your energy, your time really is what it comes down to, because you're 25 and you have a lot of energy, but we all have a finite amount of time. And putting it like hyper-focus into one thing or two things is actually going to get you better results than trying to divide it amongst multiple things. So that's a very very intelligent way of looking at things.
Yes.
So good for you. Let's talk about, shift the conversation a little bit. Let's talk about your master's degree. What did you get your master's degree in? Congratulations again, but what did you get it in, and what do you plan to do with it?
I got my master's in social work. Right now, I actually got a permanent position for the state. So I work for the Department of Health, and I work with adults who have serious mental illness in a community setting, and I love my job.
So,
it's really rewarding.
Daytime you help people, and then nighttime you go and strangle them.
Yes. Yes.
Was that always something you knew you wanted to do, or was it something kind of like it evolved and ended up there?
I always knew that I wanted to go into helping profession. So like my mom, she's a teacher, and my dad, he is like an accountant. So it's like dealing with people. So I always knew like growing up that I wanted to like work with people, but I just didn't know where. And actually, I first wanted to be a special needs teacher.
Okay.
And I used to be a PPT, a paraprofessional tutor. And so I used to work with kids on the autism spectrum.
Okay.
And from there, I realized like as rewarding as that job is, or like, you know, working with that population, I was also really burnt out. And so then
I can imagine it's hard work.
Yes. Then I transitioned to potentially going into nursing. And so I was working with older adults who had Alzheimer's or dementia.
Okay.
And I love that job too. I still caregive till this day, like on the side. But I didn't see myself doing that for the rest of my life. And I didn't like having to, it was hard for me emotionally not to get attached to my clients, and
I can see that.
watching people pass.
Yeah.
So that was really tough. Yeah.
Wow.
And then I was like, what is a helping profession where I don't, you know, have to have people dying on me and it's not too emotional? And then I was like, maybe social work.
Right.
And I stuck with it, and I like it.
Good.
And I learned a lot throughout like my bachelor's and my master's on, you know, how to maintain boundaries and not get too attached.
Having the career evolve to something that like you're like, now like I like it, I like doing this. It turns it into a career. But first is like I had a job, I had something that was just a little too much. You found hopefully a good work-life balance.
Yes.
Do you find any carryover skills from what you do professionally? Does any of that carry over to the mat?
I would say yes. Like communication is like really key on the mat. Having really good like rapport, just like relationships with people. Like I can see this like specifically for me, like when I'm saying like rapport, like Jeremiah is like such a good coach, and it's so important to have that like student and you know, instructor like relationship, because when, for example, like because I compete, when he says something when I'm in a bad position, I need to trust my coach enough that like we both are on like the same page. And then it's like when he says something, like I'll do it because I trust him, and I'm not, you know, fighting my thoughts, being like, no, I know better. You don't know anything.
Yeah, you see this blue belt? I know what I'm talking about. You and your multiple competitions and gold medals and that black belt, whatever. I know what I'm doing.
So it's like having that trust, knowing that like my coach has me, he believes in me, and but also like I believe in myself. And I think that relationship is really important.
That's really good. And having those open lines of communication, it also helps facilitate the learning, not just the competition side.
Yes.
Question I want to ask you, and it's like the demographic you're in, right? So Maya's a little older, and he's a man, and you're in a sport where there's a lot of physical contact.
Yes.
What would you tell women that are thinking about starting jiu-jitsu, as far as like the comfort level might not be there for everybody? What would you give them as advice to starting jiu-jitsu?
Just do it. No, I'm just kidding. No, just
suck it out.
Just do it. No. Honestly, I would say to somebody who's like kind of like interested or starting to get into jiu-jitsu, I would say go to a women's self-defense class first.
Okay.
Like try that first. get comfortable like moving your body, having other people be like really close to you, but then also in a way like understand that you are going to get into awkward positions. It is going to feel uncomfortable, but it's part of the learning process. And then once you feel, you know, comfortable enough to like move with women and understand the way that your body moves, then I would say like go to a class and roll with guys.
So some of those positions are awkward, and if you look at it from the outside, looking, you don't know anything about jiu-jitsu, you're like, I don't know about that. That's a little weird. Let's talk about your competitions.
Yeah.
What made you said you just like, oh, I want to compete, but what made you want to compete? And then what kept you in, because you just competed this past weekend.
Yes.
So what kept you in the competitions, continually going back?
So the first time I competed, I was a white belt. How
long had you been training when you were a white belt?
I would say I was a white belt, and then I was literally about to get my blue belt.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't compete like at all, and to this day I regret that. I regret not competing more as a white belt.
Yeah, me too.
I regret it a lot. I hope that I can stay a blue belt forever and just compete. I told Jeremiah, keep me here forever, please.
I don't know. If you keep winning, it's kind of hard to be like, you're still a blue belt.
But what is that? Competing as like a white belt, I really liked how I was able to test myself. Because at the end of the day, like, I mean, in the tournament, it's literally you. I see it as like you against yourself. Like you want to be better than how you were before, and so that's what kind of addicted me to competing. But also in a way, it's kind of like mind games in chess. Like your opponent makes a move, you make a move, and it's like, you know, you're stealing things away from them, they're stealing things away from you, and then, you know, at the end of the day, like what you learn from that match is not like what you learn from that match is like what worked in your game plan and what didn't. And then at the same time, that also builds your character.
Yeah.
And what is that? My first match, I remember as a white belt, I lost. And for me, like, that was okay because I was like, holy shit, I learned from this. And my jiu-jitsu sucks. Like, yeah.
It is.
And there's so much room for growth.
Yeah, yeah. It's a snapshot of like right now, where are you at? And then if you lose, you're like, oh man, oh man.
But I would say losing is so humbling, and
Yes.
and I think losing during my first competition is what also pushed me to keep going, because then that motivated me to want to be better.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, who is all-time your favorite grappler? Doesn't even have to be jiu-jitsu, but who's your all-time favorite?
I actually don't know too much. I mean, I know like some big name people. Like I would say I'm not like a hardcore, like, you know, like how people watch like jiu-jitsu instructionals.
I know some people like that.
And you know, love those types of
follow all the events.
Yeah, I don't
know
know
some people like
too
that.
much about that.
Okay.
All I know is Craig Jones.
Do you like Craig for his jiu-jitsu or for like Craig Jones? Because he's a funny guy.
One of my teammates, Carter, he was showing me like some of Craig Jones's videos, and that's how I learned about him.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's funny. He's a very funny guy.
I think the only grappler actually I think about that I follow is Margot Ciccarelli.
Oh,
Yeah.
Margot's awesome. Yeah, I've had the opportunity to train with her multiple times. She's good. She's really good. And after she went to AOJ, she looks amazing.
She's supposed to have a seminar. It was like a while back. It was on not Maui, the Big Island.
Okay.
And I wanted to go to that one, but I wasn't able to.
I would highly suggest attending something like that. Not only is she good at grappling, she's very physically talented, she's also so intelligent, and she puts like everything in order. One of my buddies trained with her for years. He's under her, and every time I roll with him, it's like a completely different human. He just learns so fast. So if you get the opportunity to train under Margot, go to a seminar. I highly recommend it.
Okay.
That's a good choice. I like Margot.
She should come here.
Yeah, Margot, we need you in Hawaii again. Let's see. What other hobbies do you have outside of jiu-jitsu?
Ooh, I love this. Okay. Yoga.
Okay. Yoga's good.
I do yoga.
Just carryover skills?
Yes.
It's physical?
Yes.
What got you into yoga?
Mato from Alliance Jiu Jitsu. She's actually a social worker too.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't realize how many social workers there are in this community. It's like surprising, but also scary.
Yeah.
But like in a good way, scary
yeah.
in a good way. But she was like, I'm gonna open up she's gonna open up yoga classes, and then
They do this at Alliance?
At Alliance.
Okay.
And that's when I decided, like, okay, I'll join. So I did one class, and I was like dying because it's hot yoga. She has like heaters around,
Yeah.
and you're like perspiring, but like in a good way.
Right.
And so after that, I was like, okay, I can see myself doing this again. And then, I got a membership there. And so
good.
every Saturday or every Sunday, I'll go to yoga. But now I'm going to be changing it to Saturday. But I'm consistently going. It's good for you. And it's been helping my jiu-jitsu.
What would be the biggest carryover skill you got from yoga to jiu-jitsu?
Flexibility. Yeah.
That's what I thought you were going to say, but it's that.
Flexibility.
I tried hot yoga a couple times. It's tough. You're like, oh, I can do this. Like, especially the macho one. He's like, I can hold a position. Like, I'm dying right now. It's tough. And mentally, like, being able to sit in those positions, I think is.
But you should go to Mato's one. She's super encouraging. But she also runs it in a way like a boot camp. She's like encouraging you and like cheering you on, and also telling you like you can do hard things, and you're like in a really crappy position. And you're just like, okay.
I'll check it out. I will come check it out for sure. What are your goals in jiu-jitsu, let's say in the next year? We're finishing up 2024. So in 2025, what do you want to accomplish personally in jiu-jitsu?
I really like this question. Okay, so competing was something that like I knew that I wanted to do. And so this is like a round competition. And so like this year, my eyes were set on Naga, which I completed.
Okay. How'd that go?
And then it went good. Okay. I got first in my weight bracket, and then I got second in absolute.
That's really good, because you're not that big.
Thanks.
I mean, like there's people significantly bigger than you.
Twig-like.
So second in the absolute is good. Yeah, my goal is always to win an absolute. I've never done it, so good for you.
Thank you. So after that, I was like, I had my eyes on Submission Battleground.
Okay.
So I actually have a match for that.
Can we announce it?
I don't know. They didn't tell me anything.
I heard who it was. Can I announce it?
Yeah, you can announce it.
All right. So I heard you got Nicole from Roots.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I never was true.
Yes,
okay, that's gonna be a good match.
Yes.
There's a good dynamic in the way you guys play. So I think it'll be very strategic. And you guys both really go after it, which I think is what Submission Battleground has been pushing. Like they want good matches where people are trying to finish as opposed to like they're trying to I'm just gonna win any way I can. So
I'm really excited to go against her.
Was that something that you wanted specifically, or was it something you just offered? You're like, oh, that'd be cool. Like, how did that come about?
Actually, some people were able to make it work.
Okay.
Someone asked me like, if you could go against somebody, who would you want to go with? And then I said Nicole's name, and the reason why I said it was because I actually don't have like the luxury of being able to train with her all the time.
Okay.
And so I wanted to pick somebody that I'm not able to train with all the time. I haven't trained with in a long time. I think the last time I trained with Nicole was like, I think almost a year ago.
Okay.
So like I haven't trained with her. And so I did have other people in mind that I wouldn't mind going against, but I'm like, oh, but I always have the luxury of training with you all the time. So why don't I test myself and train with somebody or go against somebody that like I don't train with. You don't know my game plan. I don't know your game plan. Like, let's see how this works. Let's test our jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. I think very respectful call out. Oh, I like you, but like you want to do some jiu-jitsu, and the sport has moved to that where we can like, I want to play against this person, I want to match against this person, because it's not MMA. We're not punching and kicking. We're not trying to hurt each other, but like we do want to test ourselves, and we want something challenging. You want good matches. So good for you. So okay, so we got Nicole in February.
Yes.
Okay, what else?
And then I'm actually looking to compete in Asia Open.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fly out to Japan?
Yes.
You competed last year, or
no,
you just
last year I just flew out to Japan.
And just ate and just saw the sights?
Yes, and watched.
That's my plan. I'm going to come out, I'm going to come watch. Are you going to compete?
I'm going to compete this time around.
Okay.
But this past year for Asia Open, I actually went out with one of my teammates, and then Kyle. So Lisa Truong.
Okay. Lisa, yeah.
Concept.
Did she compete, or she just went?
She just went too.
Okay.
So Lisa, Kyle, and I, like, we all flew out. Kyle competed, but the reason why Lisa and I kind of went out was to kind of like get an idea of like how it's run I physically need to be in a space, like before I compete, like I physically need to be there and understand like how do weigh-ins work, like what does the audience look like what do you do, you know? So like down to the T, like I need to know everything in order for me to feel comfortable.
It helps a lot mentally, mentally.
So now I know how it's gonna run.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
And I'm saying it now, so I can't.
We're gonna hold you
back
accountable.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, where you at? We're supposed to be here. Have you competed off island before?
No.
So this is your first off island, your first IBJJF.
Yes.
And you chose the biggest tournament in Asia.
Is it the biggest tournament? Well, the way I saw
job.
it was
I like it.
Naga, then Submission Battleground, right? You build up, and then Asia Open.
And then we'll cap it off, just win worlds and just call it a career. I like the flag. Okay, so we're gonna go to Japan. We're gonna do well at Asia Open. Come on with a gold medal in your weight and the absolute.
Hopefully, we'll see.
We're gonna try at least.
We're gonna try.
Okay, all right. And then what's after? Because that's summer. So after summer.
I didn't think that far ahead.
Okay.
Those were my goals, like right now.
Okay, good. That's a good plan. I think I'm gonna come out to Asia Open and cheer for you guys. I'm gonna be in the stands cheering and eating the good food though, because Japan has really good food. I don't really have any other questions for you. Is there anything that you would like to talk about?
I think one thing I do want to say is like anybody that is gonna like join jiu-jitsu, just make sure that you find a school that like one that you're comfortable in. That's really important. Some of the schools that I've been to, they taught me a lot, but at the same time, like it felt like they only cared about me because of I was paying like money and other politics. But like it's important to choose a school where you feel like you're valued, your coach cares about you, he's willing to help you work towards your goals, kind of like sit down and help you create your game plan with you, and also just choosing an environment where the people that you roll with, like your training partners, they'll keep you safe and you keep them safe. Like that's really important. And there's like no ego, you know, everyone leaves whatever they have from work or whatnot, like they leave it at the door. And they're strictly there to train jiu-jitsu.
It's beautiful. I think a good environment is so important, especially in the sport, the martial art that we're in. That's beautiful. How can we find you online? What you got? Socials, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat?
You can find me on Instagram at Shayna Kawamura.
Okay. And your gym?
Concept Academy.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.